Rise and shine. Good Sunday morning, guys. What is going on out there today? Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. As in, why not? Let's see what actually works. Let's not believe the hype. Let's not believe the clickbait garbage out there. Let's see what actually works for the rest of us. And today, what I want to work on, guys, is an example of the forehand slice approach in singles. And why we got to have it. And I think too often what happens is players get locked into a little bit more of, if not a full Eastern forehand grip, maybe getting around towards a semi-Western a little bit, and on some low incoming balls, you're forced to kind of top it. Not a great shot choice. So guys, we're going to get into that a little bit today. I got a video I want to show you. Before we do that, a couple of things. Let's see. This morning at 7:30 Pacific time, about 29 minutes, we've got day 10 of the January 2021 reboot, the physical reset for, there goes the pen, sorry, part of it. Yeah, I mean, we're working this month on, if you want to kind of make a change to the old bod, right? Could be to shed some pounds, lose some weight, right? It could be better sleep, could be better energy. Recovery, man, in my case, reduce inflammation. The one thing that I've given up this month, we're doing a dry January, no alcohol. I know. So anyway, no, it's all good. So join me this morning at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, if you want to kind of dive in on some more ideas, giving you some ideas in terms of books, maybe some quotes from those books, what they mean to me, what they might mean to you, as well as videos and documentaries and that kind of thing. Had Cliff Yates on yesterday, who wrote a really cool little book, just his story about how he went to vegan eating and how it changed his life. It's simple as that. So guys, today we're going to talk about the slice forehand in singles, and really, it's in certain situations that we find ourselves in. In fact, let me go ahead and bring up this. I'm going to bring up this point from a match I played almost 3 years ago. Actually, 2000. In 2000, where'd that video go? Come here, baby. Okay, here we go. So this is a point from the National 70 indoors in Houston, Texas, 2018. And the great Al Yearwood from Memphis, Tennessee, my opponent that day. And we had a good match. And so here it is, right? And this ball is going to skid low. And you can see where it bounces. And it's not going to bounce up. It's staying down simply because of the shot that he's hit, right? He's hit kind of a little, I played my shot deep to him, and he comes down and catches the thing as a slice drive, and it stays down low. And so look, if you've got any kind, even like an Eastern forehand here, your shot choice is going to be, well, I better top this thing. And if you're locked into, and this is one of the issues I have with today's so-called modern forehand, which is, hey man, you got to get semi to full or whatever, or some kind of a hybrid to an Eastern forehand to a semi-Western forehand. And you know what players do? Because if they've made the transition, if you're a senior guy, maybe 60 plus, that you've played, if you grew up in playing the game in the 60s and 70s, you probably developed a pretty healthy continental grip, as you should. Because when you think about all the shots that we need for a continental grip, we start with the serve. We've got slices, right? We've got forehand, backhand slice. We've got approach shot slice. We've got volleys, continental grip. We've got an overhead, continental grip. Gosh, that sounds like most of the strokes in the game ought to be played with the continental grip. So the complaint I have, the issue I have with a lot of coaches is they're so determined to get their students locked into some kind of a forehand grip that student ends up just holding on to that thing the whole point. And in this case, it doesn't work, right? And so I'm just all I'm trying to do here is get under the ball and not float it, right? I've just now committed, because I'm moving forward, it's got to be a slice approach. And look, I mean, is the passing shot available for him? It is, definitely. And the challenge that I'm putting on him, on Al, is to say, okay, I'll give you up the line. I'll give you a little cross-court roller. I don't think you're going to lob from here, but maybe you could. And he knows that. He knows that he's got to thread the needle, and this is the shot. So let's kind of take this through one more time. You can see it in real time here. I know it's a little choppy depending on my internet connection today. And then there's one other thing I want to point out to you is that slice backhand, standard slice backhand, it's deep, and now here we go. Okay, so technique-wise, what are we doing? I mean, we're hardly doing anything technique-wise because it's a continental grip, right? Because it's a continental grip, I can actually keep my racket to my side. I don't need a big swing at this thing. If you've got an Eastern forehand or a semi, and you know, God help you if you got a full Western on this thing, you've really got to bring some swing speed into this and get in and out of contact, because if you don't, it's going to be tough geometry. And again, look, it's just keep the racket out to your side. And then I kind of feel like, let's just make sure that we push the body against it, right? And there you go. Look, there's something else I want you to take a look at here is, and I want you thinking about, we talked about this before, about how are you going to take time away from your opponent. And when we get back to the forehand grip, which is, I guess, a little off topic today, maybe not, but if you're into the full Eastern, maybe a hybrid, full Eastern, semi-Western, or even a full Western, you know what? That grip really wants you to stay back behind the baseline to let the ball bounce up a little bit, right? And so for me, I'm trying to do just the opposite. I'm trying to, as my opponent makes contact, I want to be inside the baseline. I want to look for something short. I don't believe that if I serve and quote unquote stay back, right? This is not where I'm going to serve and actually just land and stay right here in the baseline. I want the toss so far in front that my body weight takes me here, so that when my opponent makes contact, number one, all right, this is your shot number one, inside the baseline, right? Let's take it again. Here we go. Shot number two, when my opponent makes contact, inside the baseline. Number three, when my opponent, this is the third shot from my opponent, makes contact, I'm just about on top of the baseline. Certainly moving inside the court. And let's another, here we go. Contact is right here. I'm trying to move inside the baseline, right? Play it from inside, and here we go. And then the last shot is inside the baseline. And here comes that slice approach. So what's the point? The point is use the geometry of the court to take time away from your opponent. And the more you back up, maybe simply because of the grip that you've got on your forehand ground stroke, is forcing you to stay back behind the baseline. And look, I'm not saying that there aren't times. God, we're 9 minutes into this thing, 7-minute thing. We blew past that barrier right there. The grip that you've got in your ready position, right? And again, I go back to the thing where a lot of coaches are force feeding you this so-called modern forehand, where you've got to go heavy top, medium to heavy top. And so in your ready position, and I see it a lot of times in the ready position in the return serve, certainly see it once you're back in the baseline, you don't know what you're going to get from your opponent. It's either going to be a forehand or a backhand. And I see guys shifting over, closing the racket face, and getting semi-Western or full Eastern. or full Western. And that requires, if you're gonna get a ball to your forehand, you got to let the ball bounce up. That's tough to play that shot on the rise. At least it is for me. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't go semi from time to time. There's definitely some balls where I go semi-Western on it, especially that one where I get to slightly run around the backhand. An incoming ball lands about halfway between the service line and the baseline. It's going to bounce up. I try to get around that thing, hit a forehand, deep cross court to the ad side. Most of my opponents, like yours, are right-handers. And I just try to loop it in there with some, semi-top. And I can feel as I hit it off that semi-Western forehand, whether or not it's high quality. And if it is, I'm thinking that guy's probably going to back up a little bit. Well, again, I want to rob time from them for whatever shot they hit. I'm moving in. Maybe I'm not playing it as an approach shot, but I'm trying to move in on that. So there you have it. We kind of went around the horn here a few times on a couple of different topics, but I hope that makes sense to you today. Number one, about the slice forehand. You got to have the right grip on this thing. And obviously, and there's lots of opportunities that you create. And I created it with that deep slice backhand, the shot right before I got the slice forehand, right? So you got to be ready to take advantage of that. And certainly in singles, but in doubles, the slice forehand approach in doubles is nasty, really just nasty. And there's so much you can do with it, so much you can disguise with it, all that stuff. All right, guys, that is it for me today. If you're over on Facebook, hey, I would absolutely love a like, a share. If you're over on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. There's also the notification bell. Just click that and then just choose all so you get notified anytime I post a new video or go live. And of course, always love to read your comments, questions, remarks in the comments area and respond to you. So with that said, guys, it is time to get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Looking forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Thanks very much.